we are gaming. Hold on. Okay, it says I'm live on YouTube, so we're good. Okay, thank you guys for bearing with me. Turnabout Corner, day 1, trial, day 1. Nice. Do. I am so excited to go against the brother, the person that we put in jail. I'm sure he'll be very happy to see us. Even though his brother did murder a person. Okay. Let's get a drink of water. Okay. Huh, Mr. Wright's not here today? He said his old foot injury was acting up. Old injury? He was all smiles yesterday. Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine as long as you're there, Trucy. Yes, fine. We'll be fine. Here comes justice. I started my voice training at 5 this morning. Oh, do some now. I want to see. Here. Huh? Oh, okay. Ahem. My name is Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! I love Apollo. That sounds more like a self-mantra than voice training. I'm fine, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this guy. Good morning. Yo, sup? Hit me with the guilty verdict, G, see if I care. You just hang loose and let things go with the flow, you know what I'm saying? Not really. Walkie, don't be running your mouth like that in here. See, that's the difference between me and you, old man. I ain't afraid of no cops. Real G's can keep it real till they spend some hard time in the pen. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Sounds like they've both been voice training too, Apollo. My worst fears realized. The trial started and I still haven't a real talk with my client. Yep. And there he is in all his glory. I like Clavier. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie Kataki. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready to rock and roll, Air Judge. Ah, it's him, the guy from yesterday. He's a prosecutor? It's Mr. Gavin's brother. Long time no see, Prosecutor Gavin. Were you taking a leave of absence? You know that little band I started in my free time? Thing is, we got real popular. Hard to say 9 to your friends when 3 of your singles go platinum, yeah? I see. To be honest, I was a little concerned. I feared you might still be distraught over that one trial. Not to worry, Air Judge. I wouldn't miss that day in court, this day in court for the world. It's worth it even more that VIP passes to one of my concerts, yeah? How can I pass up a chance to see the true strength of the little boy who bested my brother? Ooh. But it's worth canceling a show or two. Understood. You may give your opening statement to the court. Before that, I was thinking, is the air in this courtroom not a bit serious? It is a court of law. That's no way to get the crowd jumping there, Judge. They're not supposed to jump. This is a courtroom. Acton, baby. Tonight we play it my way. What's that noise? Ooh. I like this, actually. Sometimes you have to get on up in order to get down to prosecuting. This is crazy. The victim, Paul Maractus, director of the Maractus Clinic. The scene, People Park, was found pulling a noodle stand. What in the world was the doctor doing pulling a noodle stand? Yes, I believe you will only find that out by asking the defendant right here, right now. Because it's undeniable truth that he shot the victim. What do you mean undeniable? If you were to glare at anyone, Air Justice, glare at the punk in the defendant's chair. His crime was witnessed quite clearly, you see. Very well. Please admit this witness to the court. Nine, not yet. First, there is a little matter to be cleaned up. Could you talk without the accompaniment? I swear I could see the guitar for a second. What is it, Prosecutor Gavin? The motive, Air Judge. Why did the little punk do it? Why did he kill the director of the Maractus Clinic? Not so fast. The defense doesn't have to explain that. Oh, but what if the defendant specifically requests you to do so, as he did this morning? I want to give a shout out to all my homies, I believe he said. What? What is right? They always say that on stage you should hit the crowd with speed and ferocity. Sounds like you got you good, huh, Polly? Well, this is highly unusual, but the court will now hear from the defendant concerning his motive in the crime. So you, son, are the defendant. Walkie, are you? I ain't your son, old man. You step up to a Kataki, you best be prepared to step strong. You step to a public official, you best be prepared to step into jail. You gotta hand it to him, Walkie sure has guts. It's not his guts I'm worried about. Well then, the court will now hear testimony on the defendant's motive. From the defendant himself. I don't know why this guy is so insistent that he wants to be the killer. Waki Kataki's truth. I'll tell you one thing, that doctor was a quacker. Someone had to show him what's what. I was in his clinics about half a year ago. He messed up my op something bad. And then he just lets me go without a word. See you later. Bye. And I got to go in, get another doc to patch me up again? What was that day I done figured it out? No OG's gonna let that pass. That's why I went to his pad that night. You know what I'm saying? You're saying you were one of the victim's patients. Lot of stuff goes down when you're keeping it real on the street. True that. I tell you one thing, that doc was a quack. A whack. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing about all this. Yeah, we don't have a ton of evidence. I'll tell you one thing, the doctor was a quacker. First of all, the word you're looking for is quack. And isn't that a little harsh? He's your family doctor. Who asked you, Pointy Locks? Just who do you think you are? Your lawyer? Look, I ain't trying to hear that. He was a quacker, plain and simple. Someone had to show him what's what. By someone, you mean... Was there anyone with the score to settle with this doctor? Besides you, I mean. You better ask somebody else, Holmes. Why do I care? I made up my own mind and did what had to be done, straight gangsta style. But why were you so mad at this doctor? Yo, sit back and listen while I drop it, J-Man. Oh my god, this is so cringe. The way he talks. I was at his clinic about half a year ago. He messed up my op something bad. So you were a patient in the Maractus Clinic half a year ago. For what reason? I had what you might call a mark of honor. Can you explain precisely what was wrong? We had a little run-in with the Rivalis family. Rival. I get it. That's when I pulled a jack move. I ran into an ambush. G busted a cap right in me. According to my sources, you couldn't stand the stress of waiting, and ran in 15 minutes before the appointed time, by yourself. Hey, I was more than a match for those guys. So you were carried to the Maractus Clinic from there. Apparently, he was shot in the heart. Shot in the heart and he's still alive? I can catch bullets between my teeth, but I never learned how to catch them with my heart. Okay, Trucy, not gonna question that. The bullet stopped just short of my thumper, you know what I'm saying? It would have been golden if it weren't for that whack doc. Can't even take out a stupid bullet. So, as you say, the surgery was a failure. That ain't all of it, Holmes. And when he just lets me go without a word. See you later, bye. What do you mean he just let you go without a word? What do you think it means? It's whack, that's what. I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds bad. It sounds as though Air Doctor wished to hide his mistake. This is why he let the defendant go. He's a liar, straight up. He's a badder G than me. So I gotta go get in another doc to patch me up again. So this bullet is still... You know it, I can still feel it. Right there in my chest, press it up against my heart. Your words are like a bullet shot straight through my heart. Or something to that effect. Incidentally, that's from one of our hit singles. Well, that sounds like a straightforward case of malpractice. Word, J-Man, weren't no accident, that's for shizzle. Oh my god. Dude, stop talking like that! It makes me cringe, and I don't want to voice it. It seems that there were issues with this doctor. Man, putting him down was like doing the world a favor. Walkie, please consult your lawyer before saying things like that, please. Chin up, Apollo. Back straight. But why did this mistake only come to light that day? It was found during the family health checkup. The family health checkup? That was the wackest thing of all us G's lining up, taking eye exams and all that. Better to die young than fade away, bizoy. I don't know what that means. A relief to hear. Eh? What's a relief? Oh, did your father not tell you? The bullet you carry so close to your heart is, if not attended to immediately, it could kill you. What? Yes, Air Dr. Maractus had knowledge concerning this ticking time bomb in you. Knowledge that could have saved your life. No way, that's whacked. There is proof, your checkup report. Okay. How ironic that you would kill the one man capable of helping you. You're almost as careless as he was. Well, now that the place is hopping, let's get this gig started. Started? We've had enough of a warm-up act, yeah? Time to hear from the witness. Walkie sure is quiet all of a sudden. I'm a little uneasy myself. Is this Gavin's strategy? Oh. So, you will tell us your name and occupation. I just imitated his act. That just was so weird. My name is Wesley Stickler. By occupation, I take it you refer to some labor that profits society at large, supports the livelihood, under which definition I must confess to being unemployed. However, we must acknowledge that meaning of identity, which is commonly attached to this notion of occupation, and once we have accepted this reality, we can see that our confusion is not gestalt, say, but the vagueness inherent of all representations of thought, by which he means to say that he is a student. A junior at Ivy University, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in the Department of Science and Engineering. Filled with curiosity for all things, I spend my days in the pursuit of truth, honing my... Herr Stickler, please direct said curiosity to the case at hand today. Very well, Mr. Stickler. Please testify to the court about what you saw on the night of the crime. You asked quite simplistically what I saw. However, we must understand that Homo sapiens possess two eyes. Each of these is sent to receive and interpret data, sending images and form signals to... Okay, thank you. Oh my god. A night in the park. That night, I passed through the park on my way home from shopping when I saw them. One man pulling a stand, another man facing him. I saw them quite clearly. The man facing the victim was the defendant. I can't tell if he's holding a knife or a gun. In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. A shot. The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead. Nope, it said it hit him from his temple. Naughty, naughty. Was there anyone else in the park at the time? I could say with 100% accuracy that there was not. The pistol our witness refers to is this. The court accepts this into evidence. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness. Yes, Your Honor. Trucy, why are you staring like that at the witness? That man. I can't help but feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh. Was he the one that took her panties? Okay, I already know what I have to present. Pulling a stand and the man facing him. I saw them quite clearly. The man facing the victim was the defendant. Sandy held yes pistol. Was pointed at the man pulling the stand. A shot. The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead. Okay.
Objection!
Whew, if that's all of it, I think I have a chance. Is that you relaxing, I see, Air Justice? Huh? Oh, Objection! Once is quite enough, Mr. Justice. Apollo, pace yourself. This trial's not over yet. Right. Look at this. The autopsy report. Is there a problem with the autopsy report? Right, a problem. Problem. Yes! The problem is the location of the entry wound. The location? You testified that the killer shot the victim square in the forehead, did you not? I have already determined your angle of inquiry. Allow me to explain. Quite simple, really. First, understand that when I say square, I mean not in the geometrical absolute. What do I mean by this? For example, the defect of a meter is, oh god, the wavelength of light emitted by a krypton particle, as we all know. In addition, it's well-known fact that krypton particles are rare and invisible to the naked eye, which points to a basic fallacy in your line of reasoning, namely that what... Oh god. I almost ran out of breath. This guy's gonna kill me! Mr. Justice, yes? What's your objection to these, krypton particle things? This is the big time, and you were so obsessed with something so small? You disappoint me. No, I'm obsessed with something big! I mean, there's a bigger, less nitpicky problem here. I'm obsessed with something big! Do tell. Just look at the autopsy report. The location of the entry wound was the right temple. Temple. Mr. Stickler, you said quite clearly that the victim was shot square in the forehead. That's a contradiction. Isn't it? God, Apollo's so cute. Is it? It is, right? Finally! Air Justice. Oh, Air Justice. Yes? Your tactics are outdated, trying to shake the witness by objecting to trifles. Surely you haven't forgotten the fatal wound your master suffered 7 years ago. Phoenix Wright, was it? Look, I know the wound was in the wrong place according to this testimony. Hey, Air Forehead. Oh my god. What is that nickname? I just realized, what is that nickname? Forehead? Let us imagine you are walking through the park. You see two men facing each other, one with a pistol trained on the other. What would you do, Air Forehead? Well, I guess I would try to stop them. I'd probably shout, stop. And you, Fraulein? Me? Well, I'd probably scream, eek! And you, Air Stickler? What did you shout, I wonder? Ah! If the victim turned his head at the last moment... Ugh. Ah, yes. Thank you for jogging my memory. It sounds like an addendum to the testimony is required. Night in the Park 2. As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. Seize this at once, you two, I cried, with composure. The victim turned in the direction of my voice and a shot rang out. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to be frightened. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. Why wasn't a pistol found then? I see, so you attempted to stop the crime. Indeed. With composure. Well, maybe the criminal wouldn't have fired if he hadn't shouted like that. That doesn't really matter now, unfortunately. Let us consider this new testimony, shall we? Observe the diagram, if you would. The witness, Mr. Stickler was it, stood here. He shouted, "Oh, stop, please," or something of this nature. And the victim responded by looking in the witness's direction. If the killer were to have fired at just that moment, hold on, I'm just imagining that's the right temple. It would be if, hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's accurate. If the killer were to have fired at just that moment, as we can see, the bullet would have struck the right temple as in the report. That does seem to be the case. Witness the power of a junior in Ivy University's Department of Science. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness. Okay, that's not that important. Sees us at once, you two, I cried with composure.
Hold it!
Did you hear the gunshot at the same time as the victim turned? Indeed, I would say about the same time, to be precise. And the victim didn't ask you for help? It can't be said that he didn't have time to ask. He didn't even have time to take a single step. I'm totally sure that the killer fired because Mr. Stickler startled him. Don't say that too loud, Trucy, please. Appeared to have become frightened. What do you mean frightened? Can you describe the killer's actions more clearly? You seem quite surprised, especially considering it was he who did the deed. As we can see, human psychology is a tangled web indeed. He simply couldn't believe what he had done. He shot, he panicked, a common tale, but true. Unfortunately, before I could take further action. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. You didn't try to apprehend the criminal? It all happened so fast, I'm afraid I hadn't the time. Wasn't something about that strike you as odd, Apollo? What? The killer was in a hurry, right? He fired the pistol and tossed it right away. According to the testimony, that's what happened, yes. In that case, I'd expect to find something that we didn't find. Find something? Find what? The pistol! I like that contradiction. Kinda sad to see it go. Not as sad as I feel. What do we do now? At least the testimony's getting a little clearer. She's right. Maybe I can find something to use in this new testimony. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Oh, thank you for the hydrate and stretch. I'm gonna save because this might be wrong. Wait.
Objection!
No? Okay. Okay. Went ham on those lines. What do you mean? Hydrate? Stretch. Clearly, yeah, okay, okay. Okay, well, let's try again. Oh, the lines of him, yeah. A shot rang out, okay. Connor Carly killer appeared to become frightened. Let's look at what we got. Is it this one?
Objection!
Oh yeah, I just picked the wrong one to object to. Wait a second. Another misleading request? Yet you're so beholden to your own mode of discourse, you can't see how it affects you. Come again? Wait a second, you say? A second? Are we intended to wait just that, a single second, 1/16th of a minute? That's hardly enough time to draw a breath, let alone make a statement in court. Now, had you asked for a longer period of time, say 3 minutes, 35 seconds, then, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor? Am I to understand that you're objecting to the length of a second? Yes, I mean, no, here, just look at the pistol. It doesn't have a single fingerprint on it. Ah, a common ploy, made all the more common, I fear, by the prevalence of television. Oh, thank you for that, Pats. Criminals these days are loath to leave fingerprints. Wait, but you said the killer tossed a gun and ran. That's right. He didn't have time to wipe the gun for prints. Oh, that's what I was objecting to? Ah, the little girl sticking it to the university student. There's a song in there. I'm not little. Then let's think like adults, shall we, Fraulein? Huh? What if the killer, the defendant, was wearing gloves? Gotta admit, I didn't think of that, Apollo. Well, Mr. Justice, could the killer have been wearing gloves? No way. The record of the murder weapon is very clear about one thing. The fingerprints were wiped, which means some trace of prints remained. Which contradicts your testimony. If everything happened as you say it did, he wouldn't have had time to wipe the pistol. That may be, but it does not change what I saw. The killer, the defendant, he threw down the murderous weapon from his hand and fled. And this pistol was found at the scene of the crime, strongly suggesting that this was the weapon he disposed of. That sounds solid to me. Well, Air Forehead, any of your precious objections? What gives, Apollo? Let's see that voice training go to work! You know, I've only recently realized something. No matter how much you train your voice, it doesn't matter if you have nothing to say. What do you mean, nothing to say? Isn't it obvious from what the witness just said? Huh? Isn't what obvious? When he restated what he saw just now, he said he saw Waki drop a murderous weapon. But that's not the same as being 100% sure of what Waki threw away. You're right. It's just confused because the pistol was found at the scene. Poor Mr. Stickler. It must be hard to be so perfect and yet so wrong. Well, it could be said that I'm quite offended. Well, it is indeed true that once in my youth I wrote a love letter in my own blood that was seized by the teacher and pointed on the blackboard for all to see. Whoa! Hold on. He wrote a love letter in his own blood. What? What we can say for certain is that the witness saw the killer throw something. Does the defense have anything to say about this? Well, what if he threw wasn't a pistol? Then it had to be something else. At least one person in the defense team seems to be thinking. I'll wipe that smile off your pretty face, Gavin. This is what I mean when I said I shipped the two. If only Nina was here, she'd understand. Or who did I talk to this about? It was Sal. I don't think Sal's here anymore, though. Perhaps you can inform the court as to the nature of this something else. What did the killer throw away before fleeing the scene? Is that a sword? I saw one of those on the late-night movie last night. Great, a sleep-deprived judge. This knife was found at the scene of the crime, with the defendant's prints on it. His prints! This single piece of evidence proves two important things. One, that what the defendant threw down wasn't a pistol. Two, that the defendant wasn't wearing any gloves. Indeed. Oh, Air Forehead? You're forgetting two other things you just proven. Huh? One, that the man the witness saw was the defendant, Mr. Waki Kataki. Two, that the defendant was holding a knife with the intent of harming the victim. Oh! Indeed. Never underestimated Gavin is the lesson here. This court is of the opinion that our witness is fond of making assumptions. In that light, I believe it would behoove us to hear about what really occurred. With less assuming, please. It is always the same with you people. Mark left the house... What? Mark left the house on foot, and 5 minutes later his brother left after him. How long would it take for Mark's brother to catch up to him? Assuming that Mark never left, never had to stop for a What? Assuming. Yes, that's what I said. Assuming. As if that were a probable situation at all. Yet here you are assuming that my assumption is no better. God, I don't like this guy. Ahem. What this court assumes is that the witness will testify as to what happened after the shot was fired. From shot to call. I cannot prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. We have a cell phone with us. Why didn't you chase the killer? He was, as you say, a killer. Of course I could have run him down, yet what would he have done when cornered? Sadly, it takes more aptitude for solving quadratic equations to know that, more than an aptitude. Did the testimony earlier not prove the defendant's presence at the scene? Do we not also know that there was no one else there? It seems clear that we have our killer. Does it not? Does it not, Mr. Justice? I better find a way to take this testimony down quick. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I use my cell phone to call the police. Okay, press that. Wasn't your first thought to call an ambulance? It could be said that I have dabbled in medicine. The injury I witnessed, namely a single shot to the head, tends to result in death. Ergo, there is no need for me to call an ambulance. Oh, a perfect syllogism. Proof in 3 parts. Exquisite. Simply exquisite. He actually looks like he's gonna cry. Can you tell us in detail about these 10 minutes? I stood in a state of heightened awareness. Anything could happen at any moment. Anyone could appear from any direction. Is that all? No one came. Nothing happened at all. I saw it all, which is to say I saw nothing. It was late at night. It's not odd to think there would be a few people around in the park. So he just stood there watching. Not much to go on there. Trucy, if you got something to say, by all means say it. This witness is way too self-assured. There's gotta be a weakness somewhere in his testimony. Can we turn it on? Where's the power button? I'm pretty sure this is his phone. I don't know why, I just have a feeling. Okay. You were certainly composed for someone who had just witnessed a killing. If one is to devote one's life to the pursuit of science, one must never flinch at the sight of a little blood, nor be so moved by a chemical discovery that one drops one's flask upon the lab room floor. Ooh, cool answer. Very cool. So nothing strange about how he acted. Trucy looks like she has something to say. Okay. Which way did the killer run? By that time, it was clear the killer noticed me. Naturally, he ran in the opposite direction. That would mean he ran in the opposite direction from the Kataki mansion. Actung! Don't think about pointing out that he was going away from his home. All he had to do was loop back once he was out of sight. Ugh, how did he know that's where I was going? Ugh, I can't find a single problem with that testimony. Had enough at last, there, forehead? Maybe it's time to back off a bit. Let's save. The defense still has some questions that demand answers, Your Honor. Your opinion, Prosecutor Gavin? Oh, let him play attorney until he's satisfied, I say. I will amuse myself by composing my next smash hit in my head. Very well, you may continue with the cross-examination. I cannot prevent the killer from leaving the scene. Okay. Or could I simply leave the scene in good conscience? I trust myself on to call the police. Wasn't your first... Oh, okay, we already did all this. Okay. Some of us have glamorous careers we'd like to get back to this month there, forehead. I don't have enough to put Walkie away yet. Should I back off for now? Yeah. There's nothing fishy about that testimony at all. Appears there are no objections to the witness's current testimony. There are any number of ways to explain the lack of prints on the pistol, I assure you. Perhaps the killer really was wearing gloves, which wiped the previous user's prints off. Then after the deed was done, this fell out of his pocket as he was throwing the gun away. A mistake befitting a small-time punk, in my opinion. No! No! It seems we come to the... What? No! No! Hold on. No! Oh. I should have read all that. Shit! Hold on. Okay, seems we've come to the end of the line here. No, that can't be all. How unfortunate. It seems like you weren't cut out to stand on the same stage as me, were you, Air Forehead? I believe this brings the cross-examination to a close. This court will now declare a verdict for the defendant, Walkie Kataki. Hold it. Eee! Trissy! Nobody move. What's the meaning of this? Who are you? There'll be no verdict in this court. Not yet. Wait, are you one of the Katakis? The Katakis? You mean the notorious gangsters? If you don't want to see me give this pretty little girl a new smile, do as I say. Adjourn the court for 20 minutes. What? This court will not bow to the pressure from the likes of... Air Judge. I see little point in further aggravating this gentleman. Recess. 20 minutes, or I promise you, you'll regret it. Wait! How did he disappear so fast? Come to the defendant lobby, Apollo. Suppose I have no choice but to adjourn for 20-minute recess. Bailiff, catch that mysterious man. To be continued. Yes, save. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay. I'm just, hmm. Who is streaming currently? We haven't been streaming on YouTube that long. I could continue. Hmm. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna end the stream. Okay, I think that's good. We hit a to be continued point. Didn't think we'd get there that fast, to be honest. But yeah. All right. See you guys. Let's